Hey, everybody. Jason Bermas here. And for the remainder of the hour, we are going to be talking about transhumanism. We are going to be talking about the executive order that Biden has signed onto. We're going to be talking about NASA, space warfare, cancer moonshot, and so much more. But what I wanted to start out with, if you caught my last presentation here, from transgender to transhuman, I featured a conference put on by the Bezos-owned Washington Post, sponsored by Samsung and Lockheed Martin, called Transformers in 2016. And in that, it was openly discussed that they would be taking a nano satellite skin that would encompass the globe and be utilized for all types of warfare and beyond. And that is exactly what we are seeing in the Ukraine. Folks, it's not just a proxy war. As Alex Jones stated yesterday, these systems, Starlink in particular, and its classified cousin, Blackjack, are being utilized with Ghost and Sidewinder drones that are killing people in mass. And before I play you this clip from Transformers, I want to point out that Ukraine's astronomers say there are tons of UFOs over Kiev. Really? UFOs, you say? And what people have to understand is this is classified technology, in most cases run via black programs, because NASA's not about taking us to the moon or Mars. That's a very, very small part. It is about transhumanism, space warfare, and beyond. So in this conference, let's have one of their little representatives and minion. Again, NASA, DARPA, transhumanism. It's all part of the same narrative and the same brand. But let George Whitesides tell you about this system.
Through ISS has been sort of seeding the small sat market. But you can't launch into all the different orbits from ISS. And so what we'll be able to do with our vehicle Launcher 1 is to put these satellites into other orbits. But I think what's interesting is that the U.S. is now leading a new area, which is the small satellite sector. And, we're going to see tremendous growth. The geostationary, the number of geostationary satellites getting launched into orbit isn't really growing right now. But you're going to see this huge growth in small satellite constellations over the coming years that will establish essentially a new information skin for planet Earth that helps us with navigation and communication and weather and remote sensing. And I think it'll be eventually sort of a permanent new skin around the planet. And a lot of that is being catalyzed by the work that was done inside NASA labs and now inside the national lab at ISS.
And we cannot forget about Elon Musk and SpaceX itself. This is the ex-NASA chief of staff that you just saw under the Obama administration. And I want to point out that Elon Musk, who is being heralded as a hero by many, all the way back in April, donated over 3,500 of these Starlink terminals. Reports have over 12,000 of those satellite systems currently being used there. Interesting. And that is not part of what? The actual Lockheed Martin program, Blackjack. However, they work in unison with one another because Musk is really there for this DARPA SpaceX merger. Okay, his job is to move technology all over the world within an hour. Those are the military contracts that this guy is a part of. In fact, Kash Patel, who I would argue was one of the better people inside the Trump administration, openly talked about on Fox News how he was their #1 contractor. Let's go to that clip right now.
He is doing some cool stuff in space and everything. He's doing a ton of stuff that you would think is so global. He is literally launching this thing called SatLink, which almost no one knows about, but he's been building for 5 years, which is free Wi-Fi for the world.
Which is amazing.
The world.
It's going to change everything.
And there again, no one's talking about, you think the Democrats would be championing this, like, oh, I can be in Central Sahara, Africa and get Wi-Fi on my $3 million phone.
Yeah.
You know, but they're not. And if you've actually watched one of these satellite link uploads, it's like a string of pearls being dropped into the night sky. It's really cool. I mean, we're all paying for it. This is why he's so rich. DOD's biggest like contractor is Elon Musk.
That's right.
Oh, the DOD's biggest contractor is Elon Musk. So let's talk nanosats for a moment. I often go to this Future Strategic Warfare document by Dennis Bushnell, the chief scientist over at NASA to this day, a guy that's been around since the Gemini program, a document from 2001. And one of the first things we see when we talk about blast wave accelerators, which is a type of what? Warfare. In fact, you can see one of these blast wave accelerator diagrams, again, all the way back in 2001 in this document. You'll notice nanosats on the bottom. Well, nanosats come up quite a bit in this document. If you see it here, you'll see that they are inexpensive. And they are overhead systems, ubiquitous with UAVs, both military and commercial. Blackjack military, Starlink commercial. And this preceded all of these things by over a decade. If you see the future of warfare, you have mini, micro, and nanosats, along with UAVs. They also mentioned binary and biological weaponry in this as well, and get you ready for robotics, automatics at the large. Now, if you keep going, I mean, they keep talking about this and its magnitude in this type of warfare. You also get biochemical, molecular, nanocomputing with these sensors. Again, it's not just the Internet of Things. It's the Internet of Bodies. That's why they get into cyber and artificial life. When we start talking about the transhumanist aspect, we're going to get into the genomic repair and design of the human species, again, in this document. But I really thought this part was telling. Trojan horse everything. Ships, boats, planes, cars, trucks, packages, cargo, containers. Targeted effects, including tidal waves, EMPs, earthquakes, radiation, and of course, blasts, aka the blast wave accelerator. They are telling you that this type of technology is stealth. They are telling you they can control certain aspects of the weather and beyond. They are telling you it is not going to come via the means of the military, but these privatized Trojan horse civilian systems. This is the techno-fascist partnership that is out in the open. And when we come back, we're going to examine not only that document, but Biden's executive order. Remember to support Infowars.com right now. If you haven't gotten the Great Reset and the War for the World, make sure you order it today. We will be back on the flip side, InfoWarsStore.com. We are back. It is the Alex Jones Show. I am Jason Bermas, and we are going to move on to the poopy pants puppet president and his latest executive order, as well as cancer moonshot, which you may have missed. You see, when Biden was running, he was talking about a DARPA-like program to end cancer. And lo and behold, that DARPA-like program is not only the Defense Department, but NASA itself. And you can read this. We can cure cancers once and for all. Oh, this technology is going to empower us. We're going to slash deaths by half within 25 years. You scroll down, and this woman right here is a part of both DARPA and NASA. And when Joe Biden was trying to read off his prompter, I got to say, he went almost 90 seconds with only a couple stumbles, some of his better moments. He actually mentions NASA. That's why we continuously harp on that organization. But don't take my word for it. Take Zombie J's.
President Biden, this cancer moonshot is one of the reasons why I ran for president.
There's always a reason why he ran for president. Cancer moonshot, that's one of them.
As part of my unity agenda that I laid out in my State of the Union address to rally the American people to work together, because we know this: cancer does not discriminate red and blue. It doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Beating cancer is something we can do together, and that's why I'm here today. As part of the supercharged moonshot, I'll use my authorities as president to increase funding to break log jams and to speed breakthroughs. I've also formed a new cancer cabinet that's driving a whole of government effort to unleash every possible asset within our power, from NASA, that knows more about radiation than any doctor does, to the Defense Department, that has the ability to calculate, and the Energy Department, do 1,000,000 billion calculations per second.
1,000,000 billion calculations per second, log jams, blah, 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 blah. But think about what he just said. Now, he also talked about the Energy Department. If anybody wants to go back into history and check out what the Department of Energy did via human experimentation, you need only go to the Clinton administration when he had to walk out in public with a binder about that big on the horrific human experimentation that was done unknowingly on soldiers and citizens alike. These are black programs in many instances, and I promise you, they are not here to empower humanity. They are here to enslave us under this biotech nightmare. This document, Executive Order on Advancing Biotechnology and Biomanufacturing Innovation for a Sustainable, there's that word again. What sustainable mean? It means your standard of living plummets. That's what it means. Safe and secure American bioeconomy. You see, your social credit score, your carbon credit score, they intend that to be in the Internet of Bodies as well. Forget about just track, trace, database. They want everything internally. Here's just a small subsection for everybody. For biotechnology and biomanufacturing to help us achieve our societal goals, and their societal goals are to take hold of the evolution of everything openly. Bushnell discusses that in the document we're going to go back to, and in person, as we've shown you here, where he admits in 2018 they've already put 200,000 brain chips in people. But hey, to achieve those societal goals, the United States needs to invest in foundational scientific capabilities. We need to develop genetic engineering technologies and techniques to be able to write circuitry for cells and predictably program biology in the same way in which we write software and program computers. Again, this is what the transgender, non-binary zeros and ones agenda is all about, to equate you not to a human being, a being with a spirit, a soul, actual consciousness, but nothing more than a number, a nobody, a nothing, to be subjugated to their predator class power. They want to unlock the power of biological data, including through computing tools and artificial intelligence, and advance the science of scale-up production while reducing the obstacles for commercialization so that the innovative technologies and products can reach markets faster. That is the government partnership with these companies, these tech companies, for, again, outward biotech medical fascism. Believe the hype. That is what this is 100% about, and people need to understand it is not coming, it's here. And that's why we're going to play Dennis Bushnell telling you what? The evolution of everything is over. We're taking hold.
Humans are now becoming cyborgs. We have cochlear implants to hear, artificial retinas to see, artificial hearts to live, artificial limbs to move, artificial organs to functions, and brain chips. There's a couple 100,000 people wandering around with brain chips now to fix congenitally defective brains and increasingly to fix memory and other things. DARPA's working on brain chips for super soldiers. And people are now working, thanks to Musk and other people, funding direct machine-brain communications. It's not us versus them, us versus the machines. We're merging.
Now, before he gets into that merger, notice Musk comes up again. Musk is going to be revealing his Optimus bot, I believe on September 29th or 30th. We're about 2 weeks away. Okay, and he's the one pushing this technology, which is decades old, military industrial complex run via his Neuralink commercially, and being praised by guys like this that are about to tell you that evolution is over. We've taken control of evolution.
And this is the human evolution of the humans. There is no more natural evolution of anything.
No more natural evolution of anything.
People are convinced that the human evolution of everything is 10 million times faster than any natural evolution. And so this is just part of the human evolution of the humans.
And if you look here at his own documentation, again, that's from 2018. This is from 2001. Humans have taken over and vastly shortened evolution of the planet, of the human species, and all products and life forms, okay, including cross-species molecular breeding and directed evolution. The genomic design and repair of the human species, mind children, okay? And it goes on, if you look at this, they talk about biohacking. They talk about how it is direct and undetectable, fatal to disabling, short to long-term scales. They openly discussed utilizing this technology as fingerprintless. Talk about plausible deniability. And here you see that they have genomically targeted pathogens. Again, fingerless campaigns that go beyond their shock and awe warfare that we saw during the Iraq War. They hadn't even used that terminology for the Iraq War. Again, this is a 2001 document. They're talking about binary agents distributed via what? Vitamins, clothing, and food. And using these genomic pathogens for individuals, that's one-on-one, or entire societies. It's all right here. It was all growing then. This is not pixie dust. This is a bio warfare document that is in your face. When we come back, we will expand on the transhumanist aspect of this all. What is going on right now and how CBDCs, digital currencies, the social credit score, the climate crisis, and a carbon agenda all intertwine into everything you're seeing right now. This is Infowars.com. Go get The Great Reset, The War for the World by Alex Jones at InfoWarsStore.com right now. Final segment of the Alex Jones Show. I am Jason Bermas sitting in the fourth hour. So how do they plan on taking us into this transhumanist nightmare? Well, selling us on a virtual age. And again, this document is looking decades ahead. They talk about the year 2030, the IT, bio-nano, virtual technological revolution. And in 2020, somehow they knew the bio-nano era was coming. Just saying, all those mRNA technologies, that is bio-nano technology. They don't know how long this will last. They got that 2030 in mind to get you into what? The virtual age. And I want to assure you that the virtual age actually goes far, far, far beyond just what they're trying to do with metaverse governance and generating economic and societal value with the World Economic Forum. They've partnered, but actually get you to believe that we are not only going to merge with machines, but upload our consciousness. And at the end of the day, Dennis Bushnell tells you here, we will have human contaminated machines And then we're going to go to Martine Rothblatt, the most powerful transgender person on the planet, a billionaire, the CEO of United Therapeutics, the person with their own religion, TerraSim, telling you about this upload and this cyber consciousness. Now, remember, transhumanism for them is they're going to remain in these bodies and have technology that empowers them. And then that same technology will trick and enslave us into thinking that our digital doppelgangers are somehow an extension of our consciousness and ourselves. This is Johnny Nonsense. This is bull shizzle McBizzle. So here he is, human contaminated machines.
We can have a high bandwidth COM port built in, so we don't have to use the sensors, and they're very limited bandwidth. And eventually, this all ends up with uploading into the machines. And instead of us versus them, humans versus the machines, we become them, or they become us, or you end up with human contaminated machines. Now,
the Kitty Hawk type of project on this, Bina 48, named for your lovely spouse, which I have talked to, and as many others. It's sort of a head on a table at this point, but it talks to you. And you've described it, this isn't the finished product of where we want to go. But Bina 48 is the Kitty Hawk basis of how this, you call them doppelgangers. Can you say robots?
Yeah, robots are just as good.
And if you put in, I kind of have the idea like, you know, the Matrix, where they were plugging stuff into the back of people's head. I have the idea that you upload everybody's personality or consciousness onto what amounts to a thumb drive, and then you can upload it to the cloud, so you're always there, and you can just plug it into a robot, and there you are.
Right, but it's becoming even, that's Bina 48 in the screen, and that was from a recent episode of Morgan Freeman's series on the National Geographic Channel about the nature of God and religion and whatnot. So we did this project to really inspire young people, and I'd say young girls in particular, to become coders. And when they have an opportunity to speak with Bina 48 and see that even today in our somewhat primitive 20 teens, we're able to write software that can respond idiosyncratically. She doesn't give the same answer any two times.
And notice they're talking about indoctrinating the youth. They're talking about writing software, just like that executive order. We've got to learn to write software for biology, and then at the same time get you to buy into this virtual nonsense. This is the author of, again, From Transgender to Transhuman, a manifesto on the freedom of form. Another book by Rothblatt, Virtually Human, the promise and peril of digital immortality. Now, at the same time, this person is utilizing technology for xenotransplantation. Now, if you believe that the average person is going to get a new kidney or a heart because of this, look at how our medical system works now. That is not the case. At best, we will be experimented on this road to the belief that somehow we are part of the metaverse or even the multiverse or a simulation, all of which equates you to programmable zeros and ones. You don't have a real soul. You don't have real consciousness. It's something that we can replicate in silicon. And that is the ultimate agenda in all of this. It is one of dehumanization, command and control. As they get you to accept less, you will own nothing and be happy. You will eat the bugs. You will be part of projects like GNOME. And what is GNOME and the line? Well, a lot of people talk about the United States when it comes to this. They talk about China when it comes to this, but it is truly, truly a global project. What you're looking behind is this ad and commercial for the line. Notice it looks very much like a virtual world where you're going to fly and touch water and it's beautiful, when in reality what this is a dystopic nightmare type system that you would see out of the Hunger Games, where they compress and command you into this city of control where everything's only 5 minutes away. Everything is regulated through your social and carbon credit score because they have to regulate that. And that's one of NASA's big thing. The ecosystem appears to be crashing. They're big on the climate change agenda, not because they believe it, but because it's a Trojan horse way of gaining that command and control system. So take a look. This is the line being built in Saudi Arabia in the middle of nowhere in deserts. And again, they always show you like that. Oh, we're taking this place where no one's living, this destitute place, and we're going to make it vibrant with life. No, they don't want you living in a big house. They don't want you living with nature. They don't want you a part of that system. They want you a part of theirs. Here it is, the wonder of more time to do what you love. Oh yes, with family and friends. They're anti-family, where you can access everything within just 5 minutes. Just go into our slave grid system and you can travel to the end in 20 minutes. Folks, maglev trains have now been around for decades and utilized throughout parts of the world. If we wanted to empower people in this country, why, I ask you, why have we not built a system much like Eisenhower did, who actually did some good things for us other than warning us about the military-industrial complex, other than warning us about the scientific elite and their attempts to take over policy, which we saw during the COVID-19 84 nightmare, other than telling you this was a spiritual battle and warfare. He built the highway system. Can you imagine if we had a maglev train system in the United States? You could literally live on the East Coast in a short drive away from an urban center or city, get on that train, have a job in the Midwest, and then commute back the same day in almost no time. But this is not about empowering humanity. It is about enslaving the vast majority of us in a predator class nightmare in which they believe that they are going to transcend biological death with systems like Calico. Okay, Calico is the immortality division over at Google, run by Kurzweil, who also has, by the way, a virtual alter ego who is a woman named Ramona. It all integrates together. Folks, I am a documentary filmmaker. I give them all away. Several of those films were produced right here at Infowars.com. I want you to watch them. I want you to share them. Loose Change, Final Cut, and Fabled Enemies, my 9/11 film. So important. We just had the 21st anniversary of 9/11. It has never been clearer that now those mechanisms that were put in place after that event for the war on terror are not directed at Muslims or foreigners anymore. They are directed at you, the American populace, the domestic terrorists. It is right in your face. You got my bigger picture films, Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find, and Shade, the motion picture. Again, all free. I'm also starting a show over at Red Voice Media. You'll see that exclusive tomorrow. We're going to get deeper into GNOME and what sustainability really means. Infowars.com needs your help right now. Alex Jones needs your help right now. Go to InfoWarsStore.com. Make the purchases on supplements. Make the purchases on videos like COVID Land and beyond. And if you haven't gotten The Great Reset and the War for the World, get it now. It is the blueprint for the enslavement they plan to bring on all of us. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip side.